And welcome back to the Law and Crime Network. I'm your host, Amy Dash, here with Christy Kunzig, an attorney from Long Island, New York. And we've been listening to this expert testimony. He's a forensic scientist, and he has been on the stand for quite some time. And at the very start, what happened is that the defense was establishing that he didn't have a lot of experience, in fact, none, with analyzing glass, being a government witness or experience with the government in the production of glass. Really, he didn't seem to be qualified to talk about these shard patterns on the broken windshield.
Right.
Why is that important? And do you think that the defense did a good job of showing that maybe he shouldn't even be on the stand talking about this topic?
I think they absolutely did. And it was right at the outset of their cross-examination of this witness. They showed, let's review your qualifications. Where here did you take any training or have any specialized knowledge in glass? And it's clear that there's none. Then they go through things that he's testified about in the past. He's never testified to anything regarding glass and the shards and the forensic analysis of that. And so I think that kind of tells the jury, okay, here's a guy who we're supposed to consider an expert, but he has no special training and no specialized knowledge in this field. So why are we going to listen to him? What could he know that we don't already know ourselves if he has no special training that we don't have,
Yeah, and I was joking and I said to you, well, I would have just stopped right there once I established that this man has no experience talking about glass and shatter patterns, that I would have just ended the cross-examination and said, I have no further questions, Your Honor. But you said that you agree that sometimes it's not a good idea to belabor it, but he also went on to establish some other inconsistencies here with this guy's examination. So it was good that he continued. And what he went on to next is he established that this vehicle was moved. There was actually a 3-hour-long journey, and it was not in an enclosed, any type of an enclosed like towing apparatus. It was actually exposed to the elements. It happened to be raining. It was windy, and this car was towed up and down hills.
Right.
And then it was examined.
Right. So not only did he get the witness to say that he has no experience or background analyzing glass, but then he said before analyzing that glass, it was, it was rained on and then taken on this journey where the shards were moved. He even acknowledges on the stand that the shards were not where they should have been. They'd moved into, I believe it called it the rain tray of the car, which is right under the windshield wipers. So now not only is he unable to have any experience analyzing glass, but now he's saying, I didn't even analyze it as it was when it happened at the scene. I analyzed it after everything was moved and it's all different.
And this is something that maybe the jurors can understand in all of this confusing testimony, because sometimes, let's be honest, it's so detailed, it's so scientific that it goes over people's heads.
Yes.
But this is something that the jurors can wrap their heads around, that if there is a glass that fractures, because we've all broken things or seen broken glass, and there is further impact upon that, the fractures within the glass spread.
Right. So that's also something to consider when this supposed expert is analyzing the glass. It did go on a long journey, as you said, 3 hours, up and down inclines. Did that impact the fractures or anything that he was studying? And, one of the things I know I mentioned before,
yes,
I watched a lot of TV, and Safe Auto, when they talk about their windshield repairs, always say, if you have one little crack, you better get to it quickly because it's going to shatter pretty soon. So I think that just
What's that jingle? Do you remember the jingle? Put you on the
spot.
My
God, I am so not going to sing that. I'm going to stick to lip syncing the Spice Girls.
Okay.
I'm not going to sing Safe Auto.
Safe Light Repairs.
Yes,
doesn't it go something
replace.
Like that?
Yes.
So that's something that the jurors can say, hey, wait a minute. This whole case is based on the premise that the windshield was shattered in a certain way, and a lot of the items within the car were placed in certain spots and spaces, and there was a mug, and whether the lid was on or the lid was open or closed or how it closed is being analyzed. And it may not have been that way at all at the time of the accident, because there was a 3-hour-long bumpy ride in the rain.
And it's really important that the defense counsel brings that to light, because that is something that the jury is going to have to consider. And it may be the thing that says, okay, yeah, you know what? The prosecution has to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt, and I have a lot of doubt right now because nobody can say specifically whether this is how it was at the scene or if there was an impact from driving the 3-hour trip.
There was also a sandy material on the pipe and some sand on the seat, and this expert did not analyze that sand and see whether the sands matched or whether it was from that area? Why is that important?
That's so important because we have no idea where this pipe came from. Is this pipe, did it really fall off the back of a truck? You know, is this something that maybe he planned this crazy pretend car accident and wanted to kill his wife with a pipe and went to a store and bought this? We need to know what is that material on it, because it may give us some insight into where the pipe came from, which is something the jury has to be wondering, and the prosecution is going to have to prove in order to convince the jury that he didn't get this pipe. It really did fly off the back of some mysterious truck.
We were saying that really the best scenario would be if somebody's watching our live trial coverage who happens to be a truck driver that was driving in that vicinity at that time and lost one of his pipes off the back of his truck and just goes in and interrupts this whole trial to say, hey, it was me, that's my pipe. This whole thing is just a ridiculous circus.
That would be earth-shattering. That would be fantastic.
That would add a nice, fresh new twist. Now, we were saying that we also liked the demeanor and the approach of the defense attorney because he was getting this witness agitated.
Yes.
He was facing some hostility and resistance back from the witness, but only after he sort of challenged his expertise, revealed the flaws in his analysis, and really brought out some of this witness's insecurities. But he doesn't come off as aggressive. And he comes off as smart.
That's the part that's important, because you want the jury to like you. It is so important that the jury likes you, and they don't want to see you bully a witness ever. You want to come across like, you know what, jury, I'm a likable guy, and I'm just trying to show you that you should discredit everything this guy says because he's not qualified to lead you and to help you make your determinations. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't come across as a bully. He just came across very calm, very matter of fact. Well, is it true that you don't have any experience or specialized training analyzing glass? Let's look at your qualification sheet that you filled out yourself. And, you know, have you testified about glass before? No. Okay, great. And you're right. The witness did kind of start getting hostile. And that, again, is going to be a turnoff for the jury, because they're going to say, okay, you know what, this guy is kind of acting a little crazy. There's no reason for him to be defensive, and he's getting defensive. Now we're on guard. What are you hiding?
Yeah, exactly. And we were also talking about the fact that these experts are paid to take a side.
Yes.
And I asked you, why does this even go on in our criminal justice system, where you have medical experts, scientific experts, who are catering what they say on the stand to match the pieces of the prosecution or the defense's case?
Right.
Already from the get-go, they seem to not be credible because they're taking money and sometimes they're switching what they say depending on who's paying them.
Right. So that's a catch-22 in the legal field. You need someone who can explain what the jury is looking at. You need them to explain the evidence so that they can understand it, because we can't all analyze glass patterns. So you need someone who's going to have some expertise there to explain it and make the jury understand it and be able to digest it. But on the other side, yes, these people are getting paid for their opinion. So not that I support this, but I know as an attorney, you can go out and find an expert to say anything you want. And that may have some bearing on why this person was not necessarily specialized in glass analysis. This may have been the only expert that they could say, oh, you know, we need this narrative. Can you have an expert opinion that will fit this? And, you know, maybe said yes. And again, I'm speculating. I don't know that for a fact.
Of course.
I'm just saying that
happens, maybe the case
unfortunately.
was so weak that nobody else would talk about this and try to accuse this man of murdering his wife based on the prosecution's theory.
Right. When you have an expert who isn't qualified, it makes you wonder, why couldn't you find someone with the specialized knowledge to come and support your case?
Exactly. Okay, now let's